Hi, this is Charles Hoskinson broadcasting live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny. Sometimes Colorado. Today is December 15th, 2025. We're oh so close to Christmas. We got a lot going on. Lots of cool things, lots of cool things. But I wanted to make a video talk a little bit about the year in totality and where 2026 is going and beyond. This has been a really fucked up year for our industry as a whole. A lot of people are cynical, angry, pessimistic, and bitter because we were promised a pony, and what we got with a donkey with some duct tape on the hooves. We got a donkey. It was a donkey of a year, damn it. It's not even a good donkey. It's an old donkey with a gas problem. We woke up in December of 2024 and everybody had a lot of hope. I was in discussions about the crypto czar thing, meeting with senators. We were looking to a new administration, a new way of looking at crypto, the end of the Gensler era. The American war on crypto was coming to an end. And we knew that that 4-year super cycle that we were entering into another year. And then we said, a lot of liquidity is going to enter in. And I was just recently, I think it was Discover Crypto or Altcoin Daily. I forget which one. I think it was Discover Crypto. I was in an interview with them and they kind of asked about it, like what happened? Why did we have such a bizarre market? Where did we go wrong in all of this? So first off, institutional money did come in, but they got locked into the Bitcoin layer. And because of the structure, they can't sell the Bitcoin and go and buy altcoins. So all that value accumulation that entered in through the institutional side, it stuck to Bitcoin, but it didn't trickle down. So we lost our trickle down effect that we enjoyed in 2021 and in 2017 and beyond. So that was the first issue that really was very problematic for us as an industry. The second thing was that we all thought as an industry that the Trump administration was going to be more serious as an industry than it was. The canary in the coal mine, I had sent 10 people to the inauguration. They're running around. They're having fun. They ran into Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. He was giving Mike Tyson a piggyback ride. They were high on mushrooms. And that day at the inauguration ceremony, they launched Trump Coin. And at first I thought it was a joke. I said, holy shit, Trump Coin. What the fuck is this thing? It's kind of like that Joe Pesci. What the fuck is that thing? It was pretty crazy. We're like, what are we doing here? This is nuts. And okay, came out. I guess it's a new administration. They just want to shake things up a little bit. Maybe it's a ham-fisted attempt to show endearment in the industry as a whole. But then they launched Melania. And it was just so clear that these were cash grab situations. And we as an industry had to just take it on the chin because we were hoping for a more permissive regulatory structure. So I said, all right, it is what it is. Let's just take the good, move forward. And there was a lot of ebbs and flows. The crypto czar that they select is also the AI czar. More than 20 people interviewed for that crypto czar, and they just picked somebody who didn't interview, who's best friends with Elon Musk, was an operating officer for him, and is kind of a podcast bro in Silicon Valley, who has no real significant connections to the industry as a whole. Didn't build anything in this industry, doesn't know this industry very well, just buys stuff in the industry like Solana and so forth. Okay. And then they were supposed to have a crypto commission. And Bo Hines was going to be the executive director, and then members of the industry who weren't selected to be crypto czar would come in be on that commission. They decided to get rid of the commission. Then we're supposed to meet with the president. Then invitations get rescinded. And then they have these White House meetings. There's supposed to be many of them. They only do one, and it doesn't really produce the effect that they want. Then there's going to be a reserve, and ADA's in it, and Solana's in it, and XRP's in it, and Ether's in it, and Bitcoin's in it. And then it's Bitcoin only. But we're going to tweet it anyway, right? It's bump, 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 bump. And we get the Genius Act done. It's very hard to get that over the line. We start working on clarity in earnest, and a lot of things come here. But the problem was because of World Liberty Finance and because of Trump Coin, it created an environment for the Democrats where crypto equals Trump equals bad. So everything that was bipartisan in December was not bipartisan by about June, July. And the bills became a referenda on ethics as opposed to good policy as an industry. That's tough. That's really tough. And it created a lot of unnecessary strife and bad blood. The macro was also very uncertain. We had tariffs come down the road. And are we in a trade war with China? Are we not in a trade war with China? Are we headed to a recession? Are we not headed to a recession? And then we also had a lot of wealth accumulation to the top, the millionaire and billionaire class, and extremely stagnant recovery for the blue collar people in the sub millionaire class. And it's a split economy now. If you're in my economic class, you're doing actually really good. You're making money. If you're in a normal person's economic class, you're stagnant or declining. Then we look to a lot of the tech investments, and we are in an AI bubble. You know, that AI bubble is evident by the fact that Nvidia is worth more than Australia and Canada combined. One company. That's not sustainable. It really isn't. We understand there's great value there. We understand the AI revolution is interesting, and there's a lot of value propositions to what AI is doing. I'll even show you guys a video that's pretty dystopian. But you can't have more than 1% of the entire US GDP committed to something that's not sustainable. We don't have, as a nation, the will and the budget to build 50 power plants a year. We don't have, as a nation, the will and the budget to invest $1 trillion a year in data centers. We're not China. This is not what we do. We don't have that central top-down planning. And when you look at the investments and the expectations of those investors, that's not sustainable either. And a lot of people know that. So the markets are a little soft and spongy and weak. We were promised Russia is going to stop attacking Ukraine. That didn't happen. It's still going on. A little bit of peace in the Middle East, but it's not really what we want. And now we're starting a new conflict in Venezuela and committing active war after active war, taking their tankers and blowing up their boats. And a lot of people believe regime change will occur within 6 to 12 months. And some friends of mine, including some people on my detail, they have been activated to go and train people in Taiwan. So there's a lot of discussion about a potential conflict, a kinetic conflict with China in 2027. So all of this has happened this year. Now, as an industry, when we take a look at the industry as a whole, the biggest problem is that retail did not return. And the answer I give to that is, why should they? What has this industry offered retail to return? Retail showed up in 2021. They were excited. They were enthusiastic. The cab driver was there. The waitress was there. The construction worker was there. Everybody was excited about crypto. And then they got screwed. They got screwed again and again and again and again and again and again. And they got roped into buying NFTs. They have that $1.5 million banana picture NFT and all this other garbage. 2022 decimated and wiped out, and it made a lot of people very disgusted and angry with the industry as a whole. So there was always this question of, do we learn our lesson as an industry, and do we try to build something better and more sustainable as an industry? And instead, the answer was meme coin mania, and doing a meme coin of a meme coin of a meme coin of a meme coin of a meme coin. Every time I post a picture, someone creates a meme coin and then spams my Twitter with the hope that they too can get rich by dumping on retail. Even legitimate projects like Midnight, there were a lot of people trying to short sell it. In fact, negative 800%. I mean, it was insane when you looked at some of these things on the perps market and the short selling, because they're just pre-programmed in this mindset that everything is a scam. Everything is dump the token on people. And of course, they got burned because it's not. And the trading volume erased them, which makes me happy. But this is the mindset mentality that people have. So 2025, we did not restore as an industry the trust and credibility in retail as a whole. A lot of people said, if the president of the United States can issue a meme coin twice, including Melania, then this is not a serious market. It's just a parody of the financial market and a protest against the excesses of Wall Street as a whole. So that's where we're at in 2025. And there's been great technological progress. A lot of amazing new protocols have come out. A lot of great code has been written. Congratulations to the Solana ecosystem on Fire Dancer. There's an amazing progress there. Congratulations to Sui ecosystem. They hit a lot of their KPIs. So when you look at the rank and file on the engineering, and you look at the rank and file on papers and protocols, it is really impressive to see what's been achieved. The product market fit on retail, not so much. It's been devastating. So now we're looking to 2026. And in 2026, the question is, are we offering the same what we offered in 2025, or are we going to do something different and new as an industry? I can't control the macro as the CEO of one company who builds one or two protocols, but what I can do is offer some advice. And the advice has to be a return to first principles. No government is coming to save us. No large company is coming to save us. No large investor is coming to save us. There is no cavalry that's coming to save us. We are on the island. And we, as crypto, have to decide whether we want to make a compelling case to bring people up, bring people down. And it starts with the vision of the future. Here is what the billionaire class is offering you. They want slaves. And you know what? They found a legal way to get them back. It's not AI. This is a real video from a real company, and they're showcasing the armies they're building. Now, when I was younger, you may remember this scene from iRobot. It was fantasy, it was science fiction. Well, guess what? Now it's reality. They're building that right now. So in 5 years, maybe 10 years, no later than 15 years, every delivery driver in America, every construction worker in America, every office job, every fry cook, this is who's going to be serving you. And, we'll have the McDonald's color on it, or the, all this type of stuff. That's what's coming. We know that. And then they say, oh, well, we'll solve it with UBI. Who would you trust to distribute UBI? A government or blockchain? We'll solve it, with higher taxation. So the taxes can go to corporate welfare, to the billionaire class, pay for some more wars. Is it really going to go to the poor people? There's a lot of this coming. And there's also a question, those AI models that these things run, should these really be controlled by individuals or companies if they become a public good? So if they're a public good, how do you regulate a public good? How do you control a public good? Blockchain. That's the point of it. It's a payment system. It's a trusted bulletin board. It's a ledger. And it's a controlling function for a shared resource. In case of midnight, computational privacy. The case of Bitcoin, digital gold, and the payment system thereof. But it's a controlling resource for a shared public good. AI is one example of that. AI has yet to meaningfully enter the blockchain space. So we've been trying, as has Near tried and others, but it's been difficult for a time. But in 2026, we can look to this, the future of advertising, the future of artificial intelligence, the future of money, and we return to first principles and we say, let's look to the year 2030, the year 2035. Let's look to those years. And we have to ask ourselves, what do we want as a society? How you bring retail in is you convince them that you have a vision where you can build a better world. And how you build a better world is by showing them what the world could look like versus what it will look like if we do nothing. In the spirit of Christmas, there was a Christmas movie where the protagonist gets to imagine a world where he didn't exist and all the impact it would have on people's lives. And it's the same here in blockchain. Remove it from the equation for a moment. How does globalization work? How does robotics work? How does AI work? How does the digitization of money work when we get rid of cash and we would go to all CBDCs and these types of things? How does any of that work? And what you'll find is it's a dystopian hellscape. That's just the way it is. And that's what we have to deal with. And we have to ask ourselves, are we personally comfortable with that as individuals? And most people say no. because they don't have any agency. They feel like there's nothing they can do. There's no influence they can have. There's no meaningful way they can approach this. That's how you bring retail back, is you show them the vision, you give them agency, and you say, you know what, let's all come together and let's figure this one out together as an industry. And we're going to solve these problems systematically. What we've done as an industry, especially the last 4 years, is we said your goal in the industry is to buy at price point X and sell at price point Y, with Y higher than X. The delta is your profit, where you go back to the legacy system, which you're supposed to be out of, and then you're going to go use that to buy stuff. Maybe stuff you need, maybe stuff you don't need, maybe pay off debts, whatever, but a financial freedom, that's what you're selling. How can you sell that and not have it be a scam? How? How is that possible? It's a rigged system. 99% of people will lose their money. So if that is what you're selling, Gensler has a point. There's no path forward for value appreciation to occur unless you've created a utility or service that creates natural consumption. You have to have something on the other side of the rainbow where people are using it not to speculate, but are using it to solve a real problem that couldn't be solved before. Yet for 4+ years now, year after year after year after year since 2021, the narrative has been, what is the next 10x and how soon can I dump? And when people lose money, it's a scam. That's the narrative. There's no vision. There's no mission. There's no greater good or common good. There's no enemy that we're beating or slaying. It's just avarice. And whether something's a good project or a bad project is completely connected to the token price on CoinMarketCap. What's the point of this? What's the point? Why are we here? Why take the abuse? Why do that? What's the difference? You've taken every single thing that makes what we are special and the problems we can solve, and you've reduced it to never go up or never go down as an industry. And then you ask, why is retail not coming back? Because retail is smarter now. You fucked them. You screwed them. You dumped on them. You hurt them. You made them look like fools to their wives and to their husbands, to their parents, to their children when they lost their life savings. And now you want them to come back so you can do it again. Will they? No. No, they won't. And no human being should have to endure that type of punishment a second time. Come on. Grow the fuck up and mature the fuck up. No one is coming to save you. Either you make the case that the utility is worthwhile, you're solving a major existential problem in the future, you have the ability to actually change things for the better, or you don't deserve to get rich. Everybody wants to be rich. They want to be the big entrepreneur. You're entrepreneurs. You got to do the work. You got to make the change. That's why 99% fail after it's all said and done. Because they don't really actually want to build the product. They don't actually want to embrace the chance of failure and these types of things. The vast majority of people will fail in any business endeavor. But the ones who succeed, they succeeded because they did something new and different and special, and they provided real value to others over the long term. So when we look to 2026 as an industry, we know the problems. We know AI is coming. We know the robots are coming. We know the global financial system is a Ponzi scheme. It's $338 trillion of global debt that is unrepayable. 338 trillion heading to 500 trillion globally. That is an astronomically large amount of money that no one can ever repay. It's just one Ponzi scheme where they shift things from one side to the other side. We're headed towards a global collapse. We know we're headed towards strife and conflict and war. We know that the rule of law doesn't matter anymore. We really know that in our hearts. The fiction of the rule of law is gone. And we now know we have structural parallel economies where the millionaires and billionaires, they live really well and they're okay and they're consuming and having fun. And everyone else is basically a forgettable until they can be totally replaced with robots. And then what the hell do we do with these giant piles of people floating around? We know that's coming. And so all you care about is number go up so you can try to get into the other group. You're not going to be in the other group. 99% of you won't be. So do something different. Opt out of the old system and into the new system, and opt into new systems with values where you have a voice. You have sound money. You have agency over the custody of your funds. You control that, and only you control that. And opt into something that actually can run the economic, political, and social systems of the world and preserves and protects your liberties, your freedom of association, commerce, and expression. Then you get to say, at least I have something in my life that they can't fuck up. At least I have something real. At least we said, no, I'm not going to sit here and wait 5 years for a goddamn robot to replace me. I'm not going to wait 5 years for me to wake up and find out that my job has been replaced with an AI that sounds a lot smarter than me and never calls in sick and costs $1 a day of electricity to run. I'm sorry, I'm not going to wait for that. I'm going to go ahead and do something else and go to a different system. That's been the arc of my entire career. And every day I wake up and I try to find new and creative ways to enable that reality, new methods of distribution, new ways of dealing with these markets. And there's 1,000 compromises you have to make. And every step of the way, there's some value extractor or some horrible person or some reality of these markets and the mentality and attitude that people have that try to dilute and damage the vision and the mission. And it's truly remarkable that we've been able to keep our heads above water despite all of these things. People ask, well, why aren't you as fast as Solana? Because it's hard to be as decentralized and have all the bells and whistles that we have in terms of security and be as fast as Solana. It's easy to be as fast as Solana. I attended CCS back in 2018. There was a beautiful protocol called Rapid Chain that could have facilitated that in 2018. It's hard to do that and have 50% Byzantine resistance, Nakamoto style recovery, and full decentralization. If you don't value that, you don't think those things are important, you think I've wasted my life for the past 7 years. But I do, because my mission is to build something that's here for 30 years, 50 years, 100 years, and something that can't be co-opted, corrupted, or destroyed, that provides that utility for everyone everywhere. And yes, we need to build Laos to be as fast, and it takes a little longer to get it done. But when it's done right, it's done properly. Then people inside know that in the long term, we will win. In the long term, we will be vindicated because we bet right on the direction, the philosophy, the focus, and the technology. Otherwise, it's just one giant Ponzi scheme. And I want nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing. It's useless. It's a moral hazard of moral hazards. And every single person that's in that swamp, even if they come out the other side with some gold, it's like that movie, The Labyrinth, with Boggle or whatever his name is. And there's this swamp or bog of eternal stench. And once you're in it, you smell forever and you can't get it out. That's what crypto will become at the end of the rainbow. Just don't want to be in that bog. There's more to life. There's more interesting things to do. You can run Subway shops, for God's sakes, and at least have a more honest existence. I want to change things. And what we do has always been about changing things and having a group of people around who actually believe in the future. So if we want to win 2026, we as an industry have to ask that fundamental question: are we here to change things, or are we not? And if we want retail back, we have to say as an industry, we're sorry. And we have to return to first principles and find a path to actually continue the work that Satoshi started. If we as an industry are unwilling to do that, they won't come back. We don't deserve them. We haven't earned them. And we're going to find out that the original degens of degens, Wall Street, are 10 times worse than anything we've ever done to each other. They'll kill you so fast, and they're so smart, and they're so sophisticated, and they're so capable. And now they know everything about us. And now they have native access to us. They're killers beyond killers. And after they're done sucking all the liquidity and value out of our bodies and dried husks, then they'll sick the regulators on us to make sure that we never come back from the grave and give themselves a monopoly over every single thing that made this industry special. That's what you want. That's what you get. Now, I fully admit that there's a lot of people angry at me. Oh, missed deadline this or missed deadline that. I just don't give a fuck. I just don't. I don't. Because I'm not here for you. I'm here for everybody. People who like me, the people who don't like me. I always tell people what I think, and I always tell people what I believe. And sometimes I'm right, and sometimes I'm wrong. And sometimes predictions I make are right, and sometimes predictions I make are wrong. I have a track record, sometimes good, sometimes bad. I don't lie, though. I tell people what I think is true based upon what I know and what I believe at the time. And when I'm wrong, I go back and correct the record. Bitcoin did not reach $250,000 this year. I honestly believed it would back in December of 2024 because I believed that Trump would be good for crypto. I was wrong. I believed it and I was wrong. I'll admit that. But I do believe in 2026 there's a path for it to get there. And I do believe we as an industry will pivot and return to retail and rebuild those relationships and get it done. It'll be a difficult road, but I see a path to make that happen. Laos will ship. We know how to do it. We wrote all the code down. We got it done. And when it ships, you guys are going to move the goalposts again because it's not actually about the promises and the commitments and the deliveries and the integrations and all these things. The vast majority of you that call me mean names and say I'm fat and I'm evil and stupid and bad and a liar and all these things because you lost money and you're angry. That's the fact. You pulled the trigger on a trade and it didn't go your way and you want an easy scapegoat and I'm the guy at the top. So it's easy for you to do that. It's easy for you to blame me. And if that gives you comfort and solace and it makes you feel great and warm and fuzzy inside, hating somebody that you've never met, never interacted with, never will, good for you. Honestly speaking, have fun with it. It's okay. But deep down inside, you know it's not going to solve the problem. I get before this microphone and I tell you the same thing again and again and again. The only way crypto means anything is if we make it mean something, and we make it mean something by actually honestly believing we can change the world. And if enough of us get together, we can make that happen. It's been no different from when I did my TED Talk in 2014. It was no different from when I started the Bitcoin Education Project. It was no different from when I was going to Bitcoin meetups. I had to pay for my own coffee and it was $1 a token. There's no difference. This train only goes where we send it, and it only rides as long as we ride it. And what I'm trying to tell the industry as a whole is wake up and realize what you've done over the last 4 years. It will kill the train. And you'll hand off every single thing that's special to other people. Or you can return to first principles. You can start with the vision, start with the mission, and make the case how we as an industry are going to rewrite the DNA of the world. We have a lot of good to offer. A control layer for globalism, which holds every country accountable, every leader accountable, every institution accountable, and it gives every single human being their God-given liberty back and their sound money back. I can't speak for the industry as a whole, but all I can do is speak for my little part of it and my little company. And I'll say that's what I wake up every day trying to do. You can believe whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. But when you read the code, when you look at the protocols, you look at the actions, you look at the partnerships, and you look at the product portfolio, you'll start realizing that's kind of where the buck stops. And if you don't think I can do it, short us. And if you think I can do it, pick up a fucking shovel because I need the help. This is not a revolution of one guy barking at a microphone. This is a participatory revolution. Every single person listening, if it's appealing to you, we need your help. We need you to be an ambassador. We need you to join the social channels. We need you to tell everybody. We need you to build a project and product. We need you to trade it. We need you to be part of it. We need you to be there. Some small parts, some large parts, but each part matters. Each person matters. And then we tell all those retail people, we know exactly what you went through. We understand. We went through it ourselves. We saw it up, we saw it down. It's not fun to have the president of the United States disinvite you from a meal you're supposed to have with him with no explanation at all. The next day he tweets that you're in a reserve with no explanation at all. The market goes up 71%. And then you're told you're going to go to the White House to talk about it. And then a few days later, you're disinvited again. Then you're told you're not in a reserve. It's not fun for anyone in our ecosystem, in our industry. It's not okay. It's manipulation. It's damaging. And it causes harm. And we ride the roller coaster up, we ride the roller coaster down, and we never have any seat at the table. I'd rather just be left alone to our own devices. I'd rather not be mentioned, because then we can just do the retail work and wake up every day and build RealFi and Midnight and all kinds of interesting and new exciting experiences like Quantum Hosky and things, not to mention the hundreds of entrepreneurs in the Cardano ecosystem, the Iagons, the Sunday Swaps, the Midgards, who want to do interesting and new and different things. I'd rather just focus on that and build those types of things and get caught in this miasma of all this stuff. Because those are my people. They're not prestigious. They don't command national attention. The media doesn't write about them. The New York Times doesn't run exposés and articles. They're everyday people, just like me, just like you. And we're equals in one revolution. We wake up every day and we go and get the work done. And we do this not because we want to make big fortunes. We do this because, legitimately speaking, we don't want to live in the alternative world. Who the fuck wants to live in a world where every single person who serves you is a robot? Every single interaction you have was with an AI. Every email you read was written by a robot. Every connection you have in some way is curated. Every picture you look at on Tinder is AI generated. Every human being in some way is modified or augmented. There's no objective reality or truth. It's all just slop. Every asset is owned by some heartless international company. Your apartment building is owned by BlackRock or Blackstone. There's more private equity companies than McDonald's in the United States now. 19,000 versus 14,000. Who the fuck wants to live in that world? And then you just wonder, why am I depressed? Why do I feel lost and alone? Why do I feel like all meaning is bereft? And all you can do is just sit on Twitter and shitpost. That's about it. Social media's only purpose is just to go and complain and pathologize every single thing. I don't want to live in that dystopian hellscape. I want to live in a world where I can verify someone's a human being. I want to live in a world, if I want to pay and interact with a human being, I pay to interact with a human being, not a damn robot. I want to live in a world where the money in my pocket can't be debased by politicians because they can no longer be trusted. They're dishonest people. They're always going to be dishonest people. Fool me once, fool me twice, fool me how many times now? Come on. You can't trust them. They're basically diapers. You're just waiting for them to be filled with shit. Some takes a while, some takes right after they put the diaper on. But guess what? It's going to be full with shit. That's what a politician is. And I'm tired of it. You're tired of it. Let's stop it. Let's move on. Let's not have this happen anymore. Let's grow up as a society. That's what I want to do. That's what you want to do. So 2026 is a return to first principles if we so choose it. Midnight was the beginning of that. Retail-only distribution. We traded $1.5 billion worth of Night token today. Market cap flipped Algorand. How about that? As a new entrant. There was no ICO. There's no VC larking around. It was just give the people something new and different. And let's see what happens. People are excited about it. You know what? It has new things it brings to the table. Private smart contracts. What's that about? It feels different. You know, we can take all these DAOs that have all this money and they keep saying we can put a business on a blockchain. We can put a business on a blockchain. RealFi is going to have a co-op with it. And I want to put that co-op on the blockchain. We're going to take Reeve and modify that thing a little bit and add a privacy layer to it. Let's find a path to have a cooperative run and have an actual DAO for the first time ever really be on a blockchain. Why not? Let's do it. Let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's try something different and new and interesting. It might fail, it might not fail, but you have to be willing to fail to succeed. You have to take a chance. You have to believe that people are going to show up and get things done. Every single time I've said, hey, do you want to do something new and different and interesting? All of you showed up. The retail showed up. And you say, yeah, why not? Let's take a shot. Let's take a chance. So that's what 2026 for us is going to be defined as. We tried the flashy stuff, just not who I am. I tried to put on the suit. I tried to play nice with all these political people. I tried so hard to fit into that crowd. And I just don't. I won't. I'm the guy with the lobster on the mic. I'm the guy with the bee on the mic. That was a gift from someone who gave me a honey hive. Had trouble putting it together. That's who I am at my core. I wake up every day and I just read papers and read books and think about weird things and, opine on the future and then join X spaces in the middle of the night. I wake up every day and I just do the work. And I did it when I was poor and I do it when I was rich. And I don't care if I go back to poor. I just do it from an apartment. It's what I love doing. I enjoy it. I like being in the driver's seat. I like having some semblance of agency because it makes me feel better about the future. It makes me feel like maybe, just maybe, we can actually have a say in all of it. Because I've seen what's on the other side of the curtain. I've seen the greed. I've seen the avarice. I've seen the sociopathy. I've seen the disdain that these elite people have for the common man. And I've also seen where they want to take this. They want to make you useless and then get rid of you because you're no longer needed. I don't want to live in a world where there's a group of people that think that that's okay. I want to live in a world where everybody matters. Is that it? It's pretty simple, huh? So 2025 was a tough year. I feel your pain. I really do. It was tough for me. It was the hardest year of my life. I traveled more this year than anything else. One place after another, one interview after another, one thing after another, one launch after another launch. We had to deal with everything. The perfect day was I was in executive workshops talking about how we're going to make everything work in 2026. And then they called me in for the soft fork. We're dealing with that. And then we had a workshop with RealFi all in the same day. It's a 26-hour day, Just do it. And we got her done. We got her pushed through. We do it for you. When we look to 2026, though, it's going to be a better year because it's the reset. The bullshit's over, We're back to work. We're back to where we were. We're back to first principles. And we'll see where it goes. Maybe good, maybe bad. I don't know. But it's going to be different. And different is good. Thank you all for listening. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. Take some time. And social media is not reality. Spend time with people in reality. Friends, family, even if it's yourself, that can still be good too. But don't spend it online. Take time off. Get off Twitter, get off Facebook, get off all these platforms and reset a little bit. The world needs to calm down. We all need to calm down. Have some more empathy, have some more love in your heart. Have some more compassion and understand the world is filled with a lot of people just trying to figure it out. The next 5 years are filled with a lot of wonders and magic, and there's a lot of really cool and interesting things down the pipe, but they're also going to be filled with a lot of pain and heartache, and a lot of people are going to go through some difficult times. And understand that just because you're not one of them right now doesn't mean that you won't be in the future. There's a karmic cycle that we go through. And we really need, as a society, to take a step back and realize that all of our problems are our problems. And we're only going to get through it together. So in 2026, it's a return to first principles. In 2026, it's return to retail. And we showed that with the launch of Midnight. We're going to continue showing that with Cardano and Midnight and Bitcoin DeFi. And we'll see where it goes. I, for one, believe in you. And I, for one, need your help. So we're all going to work together, those who are willing, and hopefully we can celebrate 2026's Christmas with a slightly bigger smile than this one. Good night, everyone, and God bless.